welcome to my second part of my steampunk inspired workshop. In this workshop I'm going to be creating a beautiful reverse French using an encapsulated steampunk design. I really hope you guys enjoy it, so let's get started. Welcome to part 2 of my steampunk inspired design set. So as you can see, I have got my stiletto tip here and I've already put in a reverse French chevron smile line. So I've used a cover salmon pink, okay, and I've put that in, and then I have built my wall. All right, so you can see from this angle, we've got a really nice strong flat surface. So the way I've done that is I've gone in with my file at a 90-degree angle and put that chevron shape in there. Now, obviously, if you wanted to do a normal rounded smile line, then you can absolutely do that. It's entirely up to you. But I want my steampunk design to just be on this area of the French here. Now, if we were doing this on a client, whether you sculpt or tip, so with a tip, you will have stuck your tip on and then done your reverse French. If you were sculpting, you would have built out a base layer of clear to give yourself the length and then put in your reverse French smile. Okay, so this look can be achieved with either technique that you use. So I'm just filing this, brushing this off now to remove any dust or debris. And now what I'm going to do is go in with some gel polish. So I'm going to go in with Temptress, which is from the Get Nailed by Lauren McBride collection, and this is a beautiful purple. And then I'm also going to go in with Sugar and Spice, okay, from the Core collection, which is like a bronzy tone, okay. And then I'm also going to go in with Acorn, so this is just a beige. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go in with my gel brush, and I'm going to start to paint this wall. So I want the darker area to be down on my French line. So I'm painting the wall and I'm going to go right up to the edge. You can overlap it slightly if you need to, and then I'm going to come down here and do exactly the same, painting that wall first and not forgetting that point of our chevron. So I'm just going to make sure that we are nice and even, which we are. And then I'm going to start to bring this colour out. And I want this tip to be slightly clear on the end, okay? So I'm just bringing this colour out. And then what I'm going to do is grab an ombre brush and just start to tap this gel polish out into almost nothing. Okay, so you can see there I'm just creating that fade, and by no means does this have to be perfect. And you can see we've still got that really nice clear tip on the end. So I'm just going to pop that in the lamp for a full cure, so that is 30 seconds. And then we're going to go in and add a little bit of our detail with our Sugar and Spice and Acorn as well, but that's also going to be done on top of the elements that we're going to be encapsulating. So I'm just going to prepare my foil that I'm going to use. So like in part 1 of our steampunk, I'm going to be using this gold foil again. And I'm just going to grab my 2 dotting tools and start to break this up slightly. So holding it with one and then pulling it away with the other. and that helps to shred our leaf to give us manageable pieces to be able to work with. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this nail out now, and I'm just going to go back in with that temptress and give it a second coat, just to make sure that we've got that really nice solid coverage. Okay, so again, painting the wall, making sure that we've got that nice solid coverage in there, and then bringing it down onto either the tip or the sculpt that you've sculpted out, and not forgetting that chevron. And then going in with my ombre brush and just tapping that out just from side to side like we would an ombre, but obviously we're working this into nothing because it's nice and clear on that tip. So again, going in for a cure, and I'm just going to show you my little cogs. So again, we use these over in the first part of this video, or of this workshop, sorry, and we are going to be putting our cogs into place on this French line. But before I do that, I'm going to go in and place down my gold foil. So the whole time we're thinking about the depth that we're going to be creating in this nail. That's really important. So I'm just going to come in here now and come right down and stick that gold leaf into that inhibition layer that has been created with our gel polish. And you don't want that, you want this to be quite inconsistent. You don't want it to be too solid. It's really nice to have that random effect. And then again, going up onto the wall that we've created all the time. This is going to be creating depth. If we go over the top, it doesn't matter too much. You don't have to panic. And then I'm just going to start bringing this down using my smaller pieces now, because I don't want it to be too solid. Okay, that bit is a bit too big. And just have our smaller pieces, and then going in and flattening them down. Making sure that they're nice and secure. Okay, so we've got our gold leaf in there, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in with my sugar and spice again, which is a gel polish, and I'm just going to add little bits into where we've done our gold leaf, just to add that bronzy tone, and overlap it on your gold leaf if you need to, right up to the end. And then just tap it out with your brush. Okay, then once you're happy with that, again, going into the lamp for a full cure. So now what we're going to do is add our cog pieces and our caviar beads. So I'm just going to get rid of this because we don't need that anymore. Okay, and I'm also going to get rid of my gold foil. And that can go back in the pot for later. Okay, so to adhere my cog pieces, I'm going to be using my Gem Buddy because it's going to hold them into place until we go into the lamp. So I'm just going to grab my Gem Buddy brush, and then I'm just going to pop a little bit of Gem Buddy where I think I might want my cogs. We really don't need a lot at all. And then I'm going to grab my cogs and pop them into that Gem Buddy. But we don't necessarily want them sitting flat this time. If they're coming up slightly like that, then that's absolutely fine, because again, it's all about creating depth. So I'm just popping these cogs in. Go for that one. That one's going to go right on the end, along with a smaller one. And then again here. Placing it down. Again, creating that depth. And then a smaller one here too. I'm just going to scooch that up. Okay, and then now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a rose gold caviar bead. I'm going to pop a little bit of my Gem Buddy down, pick out some caviar beads and roll it into that Gem Buddy. Okay, and then pick them up just randomly and pop them down into and around our cogs. Going right to the end, because we are going to encapsulate this, so it means that you can really get that depth in there. Now I'm just going to pop a few more just here, and a couple more up there. Okay. So that is now going to go in for a full cure again. And then I'm going to pop my cogs away. And then we're going to encapsulate this in clear acrylic, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is encapsulate the tip to make sure that that's all nice and secure in there. Then we're going to file it out and make sure that that smile line really pops. And then we're going to put our structure in with our clear acrylic to make sure, because this is an extreme length nail, so you need to be sure that the structure is consistent. Okay, and we've got that nice apex in there, and it will be nice and strong for your clients. So like I say, I'm going to go in now with my clear acrylic. If you're not an acrylic tech, then by all means you can do this with a a build gel. Okay, so this has now come out from a cure, and you can see that's all nice and secure in there. So now I'm going to go in with my clear acrylic and pop it into this smile line. So popping my bead down, and then just being patient with it, let it settle down into those cogs and all those nooks and crannies and divots, and then bringing it round, making sure that we've got no bubbles or lumps and bumps in and around that cog. Okay, so I'm working in smaller beads to make sure, and I'm working slightly wetter as well to make sure that our acrylic does that for us. Okay, and I'm bringing it up and over that smile line and then tapping it out like we normally would, and just easing it into place, because like I say, we don't want any bubbles in and around any of our cogs. So now we've done our two sides, I'm going to do my bead placement like I normally would, and at this stage keeping it quite thin, because at the moment we are just making sure that all of those cogs are encapsulated. And then bringing that all the way down to the tip. And then pulling it down, making sure that we've got that coverage, especially on those caviar beads that we've put on the end. So now I'm just tapping this out, making sure that all of those areas are covered. And I'm going to wait for that to set up ever so slightly. Okay, so this is now set up, and what I want to do is define this smile line and just make sure that we haven't got any overhang on there whatsoever. So I'm just literally going in and doing the smile line. I'm not worrying about any of the rest of the nail, and just defining that as much as I can before we go in and even out the structure of this nail. Okay, so I'm just going to actually use my e-file. Now you need to be super careful with this, because you do not want to create too much heat on the client's nail, because we have got metal parts in here. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this. It doesn't like being on a tip stand, and I'm just going to literally go over and define that smile line so you can see the difference there. So again, obviously if we were working on a client, we would be working at slightly different angles to this. Again, going in just over that smile line, nowhere else, and defining it. So I'm just going to check from this angle, make sure that we've got that really nice crisp point in there, and also our tips. And evening this out as much as possible. Okay, so we've got that really nice crisp smile line now. So I'm going to now dust this off once again, and then pop it back on my tip stand. And then I'm going to put my structure in with my clear acrylic. All right, so I'm just going to go in like I normally would now with my clear acrylic, add in that apex and that structure so that our clients will have a nice long service time. So again, working in sections, I'm not going to worry too much about putting my apex in, because obviously this is on a tip, but if this was on a client, you would be most definitely putting in that apex, making sure that you've got the balance of that nail absolutely perfect. And then coming down over this smile line that we have just filed in, because it's now nice and crisp. And then filling in the structure of the very tip. Now, do not panic that it has gone slightly cloudy, because when we file this and then go in with our I'd rather be shiny top coat, you will see that all of it will pop back out again. So I've just got a slight divot there, so I'm just going to even that out and then pull that down to my tip. And then once this has fully cured, we will be able to go in, file it in, ready for our top coat. So as soon as that is done, I will be back with you to file in this acrylic. Okay, so this now has set up, okay, so we can tell that because it's got a nice clear tap to it, and now it's time to file in. So I'm just going to take it off. So we need to follow our normal filing routine. So for me, I have done a free workshop on this on the YouTube channel. So I do my free edge, okay, and then I come in. Obviously, I'm holding this tip completely different to how I would hold it if it was actually on a client's finger, okay, because just for ease of filing. So I come down and do my side walls first. Okay, and then I'm going to come across this other side wall. And then along the cuticle area, which again, if I was working on a client, I would most definitely not be working at this angle, but needs must when we're working on a tip. And then I'm going to come down and just do this side wall a little bit more. And then looking down the barrel of the nail, you can see that we've now got two edges to be able to marry up. So again, I'm just going to come down this side wall a little bit more, and also along, or over, should I say, that free edge. Okay, so because of the length of this nail, especially if it was on a client, you would need to make sure that you're supporting underneath the free edge, because you do not want to be putting pressure on their nail bed. And then just working my way down, marrying up those two side walls and that free edge filing that I've put in. And then doing the same along the cuticle area and that apex. Now I haven't put a apex in on here because it is on the tip, But obviously, if we were doing this on a client, you will have put your really quite pronounced apex in there. So now what I'm going to do is come the other way. Because of the length of this nail, we need to make sure that we haven't got any divots in there. So I'm just going to come down this way now and do my filing. Making sure that it's nice and even from all angles as well. We don't want to just look at it from one point of view. So if there's any nooks, crannies or divots, then we need to make sure that we're addressing those. And again, coming down long ways, looking down the barrel of the nail, making sure that that's exactly how we want it. And then filing that area in. And just keep going over the nail, making sure that you are happy. So now to get rid of all of these scratches, I'm going in with my white block over the entirety of the nail, and you can see the difference here to this side. And it gives that really nice smooth surface to be able to apply our top coat, but it's not too smooth that our top coat isn't going to just peel away. So making sure that we have removed all of those prominent scratches, coming down, tapering that round. Okay, so now I am just going to get rid of this dust and pop my tip back on the tip stand. Just scooch that in. And then I'm going to give it a really good dust off to make sure that there's no dust or debris sat on the surface of the nail. And then we're going to go in with I'd Rather Be Shiny from Get Nailed by Laura McBride. And what this is going to do, it's going to give us a whoop out moment. So you can see in there, it's all a little bit cloudy, not quite how we want it. But as soon as this top coat goes on, you will see how that comes alive. Absolutely beautiful. So it's always quite a reassuring moment when you do encapsulation, especially with acrylic on clients, because if they've never had it before, they don't necessarily know that this happens on the top coating stage. So I'm just going in, making sure that that is nice and even, ready for a cure, and that we have capped those side walls and that free edge. And there you have our acrylic encapsulated steampunk style now. And you can see, if I just hold it that way, the depth that we have created by using our caviar beads and our foils, and also by building that wall with that purple and being really dark at the base. We've got that beautiful depth in that tip. See how the cogs are catching the light. Absolutely stunning. And also we've got that really nice crisp free edge. French line as well. So if I just show you here, I just get the light. There we go. You can see how we've got that depth in there. That line of light as well, so it's nice and straight. No nooks, crannies or divots in there whatsoever. And there you have it. How to encapsulate with acrylic your beautiful steampunk design nail. So that completes part 2 of my steampunk inspired workshop. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it, and if you did, please make sure you click the like button, and if you want to see any future workshops, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all soon.